I think we're up and running live, everybody. How you doing? Uh, Looks like there's 17 people right at the beginning watching before I even signed in. That's a bigger number than there's ever been right off the bat. So I'm grateful, and I'm grateful that even though I had to skip a week and a day, you guys came back. So that's awesome. I'm looking at the chat. Hello to everybody. Let me know who's there if you don't mind. I know I see a bunch of people, Sally and Misty, and Misty joined us at the acoustic gig last night. I hope it was good. Acoustic gig on a Tuesday night in Ashburn. You never know what to expect, but it was party gras. So I have all kinds of things that I could talk about today. But again, I'm going to start the whole thing off by saying, "What's up, Sarah? Jeremy, what's up, buddy? My hero. Jeremy's my hero. Uh, hey, Roxanne, Jessica. Jessica's Jim there with you. Tell Jim hello. Susan, it's good to see you. See your name at least. Um, so there's all kinds of things to discuss in my world. I don't know how huge everything is, but uh, I'm not going to get super political, but I'm going to say some things, and I'm just so curious um, if anyone follows along the way I do. Um, we'll come back to that. The first thing I want to say is hello, Terry. Um, Obviously, you guys, if any of you guys know me, you know that I Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat is my brother. What's up, Dan? And I'm sure all you guys have heard the terrible news of what is going on um, with Tammy Down and his fiance. Uh, Dave, I need you to be on, buddy, because a lot of what I have to discuss has to do with Canada. It's an amazing time, and uh, you know. Um, but before that, I just if you guys heard about what happened, if you don't know, Faster Pussycats on the '80s cruise. Yeah, sorry, I'm yawning. I haven't shaved in weeks. Um, and Tammy's fiance jumped overboard and is presumed dead. However, they've never found the body. But the outpour of love for Tammy has been incredible, and such an incredibly horrible thing to think. Um, he's on that cruise ship, and he can't get off because what happened in international waters. There's so much I can't say. What I will say is there's 100% evidence that he's innocent, from what I understand. Meaning, there was cameras on the balconies, and there's no sign of foul play. But that's all I can really say. But all these things run through my mind. You know, I was able to speak to Chad a little bit today, um, and and what was a curious question to me, and I feel like it was inconsiderate of me to even think about this, but all I could think was, uh, did they move him out of that room? Because imagine having to sit and stare at where that happened uh, for 4 or 5 days on that boat. What an awful thought. I believe, and I don't know. Tammy's not a great friend of mine, but I've known Tammy for 25 years maybe. Long before I was in Brett's band, we opened for Fester Pussycat all the time when they'd come through Jack's in Springfield, Virginia, and even Tammy's been a sober guy for a long time. I got to speak with him in Virginia at length this year, and he's Oh my god. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's been a long 2 days. He he's such a wonderful and kind and big spirited guy for such a horrible thing to happen to, and I just can't get it. I just can't get it off my mind. Um, but they did move him out of the cabin. That's what I found out. He doesn't have to sit and look at that spot. Uh, you know, I don't think he's going to be on the 80s cruise next week. And of course, why not? Why would he? It's just horrible. Horrible thing for him to go through. And I don't know enough to talk about specifics. I have some theories and I know a little bit of information, but it's something. It's his story to tell, and but my heart goes out to him. And whatever you guys pray to or whatever you believe in, man, that's not fucking easy to deal with that. I promise you. So uh, there's that, and then moving on to other music related stuff. By the way, I have to say it. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. There's 26 people watching and 7 likes. 26 viewers could be 26 likes. Please, 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 please. um, and hit the subscribe button if you can. Uh, but I posted today. I don't know if you guys saw that we're postponing Brett's birthday show on March 15th, which was going to be in Charlestown, West Virginia, which is really only a half hour from my home. And I was excited about that. I was really, really excited about it because all the members of BMB, Chuck and Ray, and we're going to be able to be there, and Brett's hometown family and friends is only literally about an hour north. So it was a great middle place to actually celebrate Brett's birthday on his birthday. But for those of you that care and are concerned, I spent the week out in Arizona with him doing a bunch of business and a bunch of fun things. But we also, I went with him to a couple doctor's appointments just in case he was sedated or felt funny after and needed someone to drive. Um, he was I think he said this before online, but he battles. Alfred, what's up, buddy? 5150. You're going to be here, and you might have some opinions on some of the stuff that I want to talk about today. So, um, but Brett, not only does Brett deal with battle with diabetes, which is a ongoing battle, and I don't know if you guys understand, man, but at his age, the fact that he still looks like that with diabetes. Most people with his age have already lost a finger or a foot or not a finger, a foot, or it just it's amazing that he's in the shape he is. But he also battles with skin cancer, and it's an ongoing battle. Once it starts, from what I understand, it continues to go, and sometimes there's a lot to deal with the removal of the spots that continue to come, and that's one of the things that's very important for him to deal with, and one of the things that was wrong, that caused him to have to postpone the show. His other things is his diabetes. I don't know if you guys know much about how that blood sugar runs, but he's in a weird state where his blood sugar drops tremendously low instead of skyrocketing. Uh, and I've watched him for 21 years. Uh, when you take the insulin, or when you uh, drink even a Pepsi or a Coke or something to try to get your blood rolling, and just the hyper energy of getting ready to go on stage usually jerks your blood sugar way up. And several of the shows lately, his blood sugar has been really, really low, um, which is dangerous. It's dangerous. But what's more dangerous is the peaks and the spikes, meaning he'll drop real fast and he'll go high real fast. And what that does is shock the fuck out of your body. And that's a terrible, it's terrible too. So, so he has to get that stuff in check, and he has to. So we don't have any shows for 2 weeks. Then we had his birthday show, and then we don't have any other shows for 2 weeks, and it's the only time in the year that he has that length of time to try to straighten this out. So we decided to postpone the one show and move it to April 11th, which is my son Jacob's 19th birthday. So we'll be celebrating Brett and his birthday that day. But just in case any of you guys had wondered why I posted what I posted, it's I'm very fortunate enough to be with him a lot of times when he makes those decisions, and they're never easy. They're never easy. He chooses. Um, it's funny because over the years there's a lot of cancellations. There's the brain hemorrhage. There's this. There's that. We've probably postponed 15 shows in 20 some years, uh, but um, sometimes it seems like a lot, but it's really not. Um, but he has to get it together. He has to and he has to care. He puts you guys first. I'm not, he puts me first. He wants to make sure the band is paid. He doesn't need to get paid. He wants to make sure we're working and all this stuff. And I've told him a million times, worry about you. Worry about you. We'll find things to do. Most of us all do other things, play acoustic shows or whatever. I don't want it to be on me that he's risking his health to make sure that I get a paycheck. I mean, obviously, my paycheck with him is much bigger than any other paycheck I get, but and to the fans. But he sat in that room. Hey, Julie, how are you? He sat in that room for a couple hours trying to figure out how to not cancel that or postpone the show. And the thought is always not upsetting everybody, uh, but he's got to be around, So anyway, again, 25 people still in the thing and 13 likes. I need the viewers and the likes to equal. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Uh, so moving forward, all kinds of things. If my buddy Jeremy's still on, I want to tell him. Jeremy is the guy that connected me with Whitley Striever. Uh, well, he connected me with a guy, Anthony, that owns the house, which in turn has connected me to Whitley, and we've communicated a lot. Um, and if you guys are following that part of my world, and I think you are because I get tons of emails and tons of text. From what I understand, several of you guys went out and bought Communion and Fourth Mind and maybe some other Whitley's other stuff and are checking it out. If that's the case, I'm so happy you guys are checking it out. So, with that being said, um, it looks like I get to fly. We're playing in Vegas. We're not playing in Vegas. Hello. Uh, we uh, we haven't been able to connect with the Zoom meeting yet, Sarah. It's coming. It's just he's been super busy, and I was super busy last week, and it's coming. But I'm we have a show in Laughlin, Nevada, in a couple weeks, and my buddy Anthony that owns the cabin is flying to Los Angeles on the 20th, and has invited me to go with him. And Whitley has agreed to have lunch with all of us together. So I get to meet Whitley in person and spend a little bit of time talking with him. And I think that might be the coolest thing that that is that's happened to me in a long time. So that's cool. I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. And again, I hope some of you guys are checking him out. He's an incredibly interesting guy. Uh, so, what else did I wanted to talk about? Oh, if you guys are watching my Facebook, um, you'll see that I got those glasses. Have you guys seen that? Those AI glasses, the Ray Bans. And what I don't know if any of you guys have ever really paid attention, but I don't wear sunglasses. I have a really expensive pair of sunglasses by the Icicles company. I say they're expensive. They were like $350 or something like that. By the Icicles company that I love. I think I think they're awesome looking, and I never wear them. I never ever wear them. I'm just not a sunglass guy. I don't think to put them on, and but me and Brett often talk about, if you've been to one of the BMB shows, you notice that Brett likes to ask people to get a bunch of different pictures. He's always asking the crew to take a picture of that, picture of that. But the one thing that happens where me and Brett and Norman stand, I dig those glasses, and you record the shows from the stage. They're awesome, Alfred, and they do so much more. I'm going to tell you guys all about this. Um, is Me and Brett were having a conversation about, oftentimes I'll see something out in the audience, and Brett will see something or see a picture, and we can't communicate because we're playing and singing about, hey, get that picture. A lot of times for me, it's the pictures of a child on a father or mother's shoulders reaching out to Brett, and Brett reaches out to him. And if you're not, in my view, again, or Norman's view or Brett's view, you don't really see that. Um, and so I'd seen that these glasses can do this. And I was talking to Brett, and I said, man, I said, I might get these glasses and wear them on stage. And, it only takes 3 minutes of video at a time. So you have to keep resetting it the video wise, but you can hit the snapshot to take the pictures. And a lot of the pictures Brett used on Facebook this week or on social media were the ones that came from the glasses. What a great tool. What an incredibly great tool. They're a lot of fun, but main reason I got them was for that. But it's interesting to me, for any of you guys that know me really well. I don't buy or spend a lot of money. Um, Maybe once or twice a year, I'll splurge for something that I think is cool. But I'm an impulse guy, and the impulse is, I kind of use that as a test. If I get the impulse and then I want it right then and there, and if I can't get it right then and there, then fate has it that I wasn't supposed to get it. The Jakey Lee guitar is a prime example of that story. I'm sure I've told you guys that story before, and maybe I'll come back to it. Um, and um, during COVID, out of nowhere, I woke up and I decided that I needed the most state of the art, real um, video camera, cinematic video camera you could get. Never even thought about it in my life. Never even on my dials. Like, someone downloads what I need in my head, and COVID, everything was shut down anyway. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and typed this camera I want. I don't know if you guys are into this stuff. Jeremy might know this stuff. He's still watching. It's the company's called Black Magic, and they make these what's called pocket cinema cameras, and they are the so Marvel uses these cameras to make the Marvel movies. Anytime there's an action scene or a filming scene, like in a car or a tight place where they have to get the camera, they the Avengers are filmed on this camera that I decided I had to have. So I go on Marketplace and I start looking around, and there's one that I can go to and get. It's a rainy day, I think in February or whatever, but it was there in Maryland, and I went up and got it, and that was like my impulse buy for that year. But and it was expensive, and I felt bad. COVID had ruined this guy's. He had a wedding photography business, and it had fallen apart because of COVID, and I gained from his demise, and I kind of felt guilty about that. But he also needed the money, and I got a good deal. But it's still camera stuff is expensive, especially when I'm just a hobbyist with it. But and that's the camera I use to do the stages with. This is the camera I use to do this is a whole different camera that was still $600. But so anyway, my point to that is, I'm sitting in a hotel room in Scottsdale, Arizona last week, and I do all the reading about these glasses. They're an AI assistant too. They're like Meta, or they're like Siri, but you say, "Hey Meta," instead of Siri. And the craziest thing is, like, if I had them on right now, I could say, "Hey Meta, take a picture and send it to Terry Lynn," and without me touching anything, it will send it straight to um, straight to you guys. It's I think that's pretty neat. The other thing they'll do is, even though you can only do 3 minutes of live video or 3 minutes of video, you can live stream to Facebook with them because it's a Ray-Ban and Meta thing, a connection, and so I don't know how, you guys, a lot of people just go Facebook Live, but I don't know if you guys realize there's all kinds of features how you can change Facebook Live, and you can direct it so that only one person can see. You can cut off everybody and then make a list of only the people that can see your Facebook Live. So I could have, one person, and I could share the experience with uh, the entire experience indefinitely, more intimately with just one person or two people or three people. I'm not a big fan of live Facebook Live in concerts, but my example would be that, say, I have a friend that is a gigantic Sammy Hagar fan and is deathly ill, and I'm at a Hagar concert. I can set the live stream so that only he could see it, and he could just see it through my point of view the entire evening. Um, it's a powerful tool, and the assistant's crazy. The first time I tried the assistant on it was in Detroit, and I was sitting in the dressing room with four of my friends, and I was showing it to him, and I said, "Hey, Meta, what am I looking at?" And it said back to me, "You're in a dressing room with four people." Uh, and it gave me a bunch of information. Two of them are standing, two of them are sitting. One looks to be on a stool, one's a couch. It spit out all this stuff. It was insane. Um, and so I've messed with it a lot doing that. And it'll do the directions more than anything, like, because it doesn't have a viewfinder in the glasses. But like, if we're driving, the other night we were driving from one gig to the other, which was like 400 miles. And I said, "Hey, Meta, how much farther till French Lick, Indiana?" And it spit that information out. So it's there's a lot of cool tools to the thing, um, but it can also be used in such a negative way, such an awful negative way. And I don't want to ever do that. I want to do it for fun, but I am thinking about using it on the Facebook platform to live stream some stuff like I think I'm gonna do. I'm I'm at the point in Facebook where I'm allowed to get subscriptions, and I think I'm going to run like a $2 a month subscription, and only people subscribe will be allowed to watch my live streams with the glasses, like me making candles, or I might even live stream the shows. The problem with live streaming the shows is um, the perspective in front of my monitor and my voice is when I'm singing, all you hear is me. And you're getting the sound perspective from where I stand on stage, which is not pleasurable to a listener. But they're cool. Maybe I'll do something where I just don't do the audio and you guys can just watch. But there's a lot of streaming things that I think I could do. I drive so much. I thought the other night about just kicking the live stream on and just sitting there silently and driving. We drive through the night, like 5 or 6 hours, and see how many people would watch. So my point is, I'm very uncomfortable in sunglasses. What's up, Emily? How you doing? By the way, that's Emily, the young guitar extraordinaire that joined us on stage this week. I took pictures of her and video of her with the glasses on, and she's a YouTuber and an influencer and a super great player, super cool. So check her out, check her stuff out. Emily, put where people can check you out. And her favorite guitar player is Steve Vai, and so young female guitar player that loves Steve Vai, you gotta love that. It's amazing. So I put the glasses on, and everyone in the band said they looked all right. Very paranoid, very unlike me. And yes, Striker, my bike rides. I think about that because the scenery is so beautiful. People might like to see that. But people said everyone in the band said the glasses looked cool, very supportive of it. So uncomfortable with me at first, but the point about getting them was, again, it was 10 o'clock. I was leaving at 8 a.m. The next day, and I went on Facebook Marketplace, and this guy had them for $379. And I think that's about what he'd gotten two pair for Christmas, and I think that's about what they run new. Uh, and I said, I know it's late. I'm leaving early in the morning. Will you take $270 for them? And again, I set myself up thinking they wouldn't. Um, what's up, Amy? That the guy would say no, and then I just go, I didn't need them anyway. And the guy wrote back, accepted the offer. And I said, I have to come get them right now. I'm leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 o'clock at night. And we made it work. And so now I have my glasses. And again, like I said, I'm only an impulse buyer. I don't think of anything like my Bronco. When I bought the Bronco, I don't think I even told anyone that I was getting it. I think I just went down and looked at one and ordered one, and I didn't ask anybody's advice or anything. And I do that often. I just like to do what an impulse guy. I'm an impulse guy, but it only happens a couple times a year, and I'm not a big money spender. But they're cool. The glasses are cool. The Bronco's super cool. You guys know I love that. I told you guys I might get to stay in the cabin. So someone on here, Sally, had asked me, hello, Elizabeth, any advice for someone learning guitar? I'm struggling to find a good instructor. So it's funny, Sally had asked me how I got started playing guitar. And now you're asking any advice. I've told these stories before, I think. I don't know, but I know that I don't go into the depth of some of this in my book. But if you guys are interested, I'll be glad to tell you how the whole thing started, and I'll go in super depth. Um, so uh, in my book, one of my books, I talk about the fact that my mother used to uh, go see Elvis before Elvis was Elvis. It was always Elvis, but uh, basically, like if you support a local band, she was like that to Elvis. She would go see him before he was big. She lived down there. She loved him. There's a lot of speculation as to how well she knew him, and I will tell you that it's incredibly uncomfortable, uh, unforgettable, and uncomfortable evening in my house the night Elvis Presley died. It was the first time in my entire life that I saw my parents not speaking to each other, seemingly not getting along, and my mother spent the evening in the basement. My dad spent the evening in the living room where they spent the evenings together. Uh, so there's a lot to be said, but don't smash your guitar. So you probably have read the book. I do tell the story a little bit, I guess. My mother put a guitar in my hand at 5 years old, and I just wasn't very interested. I liked music, but I wasn't interested. Um, and then later that same year, no, Striker, that's the last time. I haven't been out with it. I mean, I've been on the beach with my Bronco a bunch of times, but I've never been out trailing like I did with you that one day. I saw pictures of it the other day in my phone. The ADD's hard here. So, um, playing guitar. I just wasn't interested. And then later that same year, I saw Kiss on TV, and that was it. That was what I was going to do. There was no question in my mind from that moment on that was all that mattered. So my mom had me a little acoustic guitar, and I smashed it. Paul Stanley smashed it, and I smashed it. Then I didn't have any guitar. And then for a while, my dad would cut out these fake pretend guitars because I couldn't play anyway. He would cut out these um, out of plywood and put fishing line for strings, and I would jump around in my backyard acting like I was having a concert. Picnic table was the drum riser. I'd jump off it all the time, and I would break these guitars. Smash, I would break these guitars. And I remember also one time I left it. I was so mad that I didn't have a real guitar. Thank you, Alfred. Uh, I remember writing a note on my door that said, "Don't come in unless you have a real electric guitar with you." I posted. I've never told that part of the story, I don't think, but I left it on my wall, and I think it really pissed my parents off. They didn't like me trying to bully them. I guess I don't know what it was, but so then I'm out in the backyard and I smash the guitar again. Pisses my dad off. He's tired of cutting these things out. And in a strange twist of fate and a strange logic that doesn't make any sense to me, um, he says, "I bet you if I bought you a real guitar, you wouldn't smash that one, would you?" And he jerks me up in the car and he takes us off to the mall and we go to Harmony Hut in Manassas Mall. And he buys me a Gibson Les Paul. He buys me the real thing. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm sad that he's mad. It's not like a happy moment. It's more like a here, you happy now? Well, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm what? I'll tell you the candle story in a minute too. Well, fuck yeah, I'm happy, Dad. I'm happy as could be. Um, I don't know. So I go home and I start taking lessons. And in fact, interestingly enough, I've been looking for um, my original guitar teacher. His name was Alan Webb for years, and well, I say years. I look for him, and then I give up. And last time I looked, he wasn't on Facebook. And just last week, like years ago, and last week something popped in my mind, and I typed his name, and there he was. And I wrote him this long letter that here, I'll read it to you guys if you care. Hold on a second. It might be interesting. By the way, I might have to go get my power supply to my computer. It's still packed up from the other day, and what would this be? This might be one of them weird dimensions. Oh, here it is. I was gonna say, here we go. I've skipped dimensions again. I don't have. So it's a little heartbreaking. I don't know if you can tell. I think people sometimes can tell if you read something. But on February 20th, uh, I I said, "Hi, Alan. My name is Pete Evick. For the last 21 years, I've been the guitar player, music director for 80s rock legend Bret Michaels. You were my first guitar teacher at Music and Arts Center in Manassas. I've looked for you for years. I looked for you years ago and couldn't find you. Something told me to look today, and here you are. I just wanted to say thank you. I think about you every day. I've done some amazing things, played in front of crowds as big as 125,000 people. Most of my childhood heroes are now my opening act. You taught me a song called Rip It Out off Ace Frehley's solo record, and I played it in my fourth grade talent show. Now Ace is one of my good friends. All my dreams came true because you were cool enough to go out of the box and teach me a couple cool rock riffs while still making me do the basics out of the Mel Bay method. And I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope you're well." Uh, so, so I sent him that on February 20th, and he hasn't wrote me back. But maybe he doesn't look at Facebook anymore, and maybe he's dead. That's ridiculous, but we're at that age, and he was older than me. I was a kid, so maybe I found him too late. I don't know, but I got to say that to him. Someone will eventually read that. So yeah, so that's then I started playing guitar, and it was nonstop, just nonstop, um, and it was all I did. And this will lead into how I got into the candle business, since you're asking. Um, no hobbies. There's two things in my life. There's Star Wars and there's rock and roll. Um, no sports, no interest in anything. No interest. Star Wars and rock and roll, all there was up until season 3 of Rock of Love. Uh, Now let me go back. I want to go back to Trisha's comment about practice and how to get better and different things. Uh, the one thing I wanted to say is one of my other good friends got a guitar at the same time that my dad got me Les Paul. It was acoustic guitar, and he wanted it as bad as I did, and he loved Kiss as bad as I did, and we were gonna be rock stars, and we were gonna take over the world, and the acoustic guitar was underwhelming. And here I had the guitar that Ace Frehley was playing, and it was all I thought about all day long. And I've taught guitar for years. I worked at music stores, and the one thing I will say, and you can apply this to anything, I believe, is I don't subscribe to the buy a piece of junk to learn on. Um, Maybe in some cases, if you're going to be a crash up derby driver, buy a junk because you're going to junk it up anyway. I don't know. But what I do know is I had the guitar I wanted. And maybe Emily can talk about this too, because Emily has a wonderful guitar collection for not playing very, very long. Um, when you have the guitar you want, or whatever it is that you're doing, the fishing pole you like, or the golf club you like, instead of junk, you're way more inclined to be great at it because you like it. And let's be honest, a Les Paul plays a lot better than a $50 piece of junk. So it's actually easier to play and better to learn. It's a huge investment. I get it. And you got to have some money. My family didn't have money, and whatever my dad did to pull that guitar out of his ass that day, I have no, I have no idea. But I believe the biggest thing you can do to inspire yourself to get better is to own an instrument that you like. Uh, and and I just my other guy fell away. He works. I don't. He was in North Carolina now, and he works at some kind of waste department, which nothing's wrong with that. But uh, instruments bad instruments are hard to play and very discouraging when it comes to guitar. A cheap guitar sucks. And so the first thing I would say is to have a real instrument and have something you like. Um, and then the other thing I would say is you said it was hard to find teachers or something. Uh, all I think about nowadays is if I had YouTube when I was starting out, there'd be Steve I wouldn't have shit on me, man. Everything's there. I have a really good friend of mine, Michael Gross, who teaches guitar online, and he's made an incredible. He's like one of the first guys that ever really became an online guitar teacher, and you can go to him on YouTube, Michael Gross, and he's an incredible teacher, and all his videos are up of all the stuff he's taught other people, and there's this guy Carl from something 360. Um, Guitar 360 or something, Carl. He's an incredible instructor. To be honest with you guys, when we were out on the party growl last year, and it came down that we had to learn those Foreigner songs, um, and I was so busy with the business of the tour that I went online and had Carl and Mike Gross teach me those Foreigner songs. I trusted them. I trusted them because that I was going to play with Lou Gramm. Uh, I was certain I had to get it right. And Dean doesn't get to play any lead guitar in the Bret Michaels band at all, and he's a giant Foreigner fan, much bigger Foreigner fan than I am. So I let him play the leads, but the solos. But there's great teachers online, and Dean. I do lessons too. I don't advertise it like I used to. I taught for many, many years, but I still will do Skype or Zoom or just FaceTime vocal and guitar. I taught piano online for a long time, and it was really, really hard. I hear you. Vaughn, did you know I took it down? Look, it's gone, buddy. It's in the other room with my Randy Rhoads guitar and my Dimebag guitar. I move it all around. But uh, but there's so many people online that teach, and, and I don't do the piano anymore, but I'll do vocal and guitar lessons online. But I don't do it for cheap. I don't do it for cheap. But Dean is a wonderful teacher, and he's just now starting to do the online thing, and we've encouraged him to do that. And if anyone's looking to take some online lessons, uh, Dean's a professional teacher. Before he was in our band, he'd been doing it as his only gig for so long. He's really got it down. He's great at it, and so he it's just wonderful. If you want to take some online lessons and you want to support the BMB, hit Dean up, and great. And if for some reason someone out there wants to hit me up, um, again, I don't do it for cheap anymore. But I'm certainly glad to do online lessons. Of course, as long as someone's committed. I don't want to babysit someone for a half hour and talk about playing Poison songs. So Vaughn, how are you this week, buddy? Makes my day every time you chime in. Brett Michaels just texted me. I have a very serious question about a serious UFO question about energy. He'll bait me. He knows I'm not calling after 9:30 at night. um, can you guys hold on 1 second? I'm gonna flip the camera around for just a second, and I'm gonna go grab my power supply. And you guys chat in the room and let me come back and see what everyone has to say. I'll be right back. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry I spin the thing around, but a certain level of privacy to the rest of my home and what I don't need to share on the outside of that door. You know what I'm saying? So we plug the power in and come right back. There we go. let me look at what everyone has said. Vaughn getting by, buddy. I have lessons in tomorrow. Oh, loaded topic. I have small hands. It's hard to play my break guitar. Elizabeth, let me tell you this. My hands are tiny. CC DeVille's hands are tiny. And Edward Van Halen's hands were smaller than my hands. So that's just no. You can't use that as an excuse. You can do it. Lita Ford's hands are tiny, and she's smaller. She's shorter than me and smaller hands, and it's a thing that everyone talks about guitar players. And Lita can rip, you know. So no excuses on the small hand thing. um, you YouTube it in your box. I am not. I am not. I'm just not giving Bobo away for free. That's why I didn't open the door. We we don't give the world Boba until this channel is monetized. He's my secret weapon. So moving forward, you asked, how did I get into candle making? So now you understand how I started playing guitar, and then that's all there was, my whole life. And after the third season of Rock of Love, again, a lot of this stuff's documented in the books and other interviews, but I haven't told it in a while. So I tried to learn bass, but I seem to lack my hand strength. Bass is hard. It's hard for me to play. I'll play bass for a couple hours in the studio and get irritated and feel like a complete wimp. 36, 37 people watching, 23 likes. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button. So here we are years later, and it's the third season of Rock of Love. And we'd been on the road for 9 months straight, with cameras in our face. And I'd gone through my divorce. I came home, and my house was empty. I kept the house in the divorce, but my kids weren't there. It was empty. And I didn't want to play the guitar. It was the first. I play guitar every day. If there was one in the room, I had to be the guy touching it. If I was in a room with Eddie Van Halen and there was one guitar, Ed was going to die because I was going to fight him for that guitar. And I came home from the third season of Rock of Love, and I didn't I just didn't want to touch it, man. Um, and then a friend of mine had given me a candle that was supposed to smell like a wood burning fire. And what's up, Jeanette? Uh, and I lit it in my dark house all by myself, sitting about 2 o'clock in the morning in the living room. I didn't even want to go into my bedroom. I lived in the living room for a long time. And now it's a habit that has still happened. It's very unfortunate. I do not go to bed. Uh, Even if I fall asleep, I fall asleep on the couch, and there's nothing you can do to get me to go into a bedroom till about 4 o'clock in the morning. Uh, 12 years after this, um, but so I lit this candle, and all I kept thinking was, I wonder if I can make a candle. I described this moment as my life up until then had been loud. Everything was loud. Rock and roll was loud. My dad was an auto mechanic. The air ratchets were loud. My dad was avid gun enthusiast. The guns were loud. My mom was angry all the time and yelling, so she was loud. Loud. My life was loud, and I was tired of loud. I wanted quiet. And I remember thinking, let me go so far off the rock and roll path. I was always a fan of candles. Um, hey, Pete. I got the card, Goodfellas. When let me finish my story, and then I'll go back and read. I went to Michael's hobby store the next day after lighting that candle because I kept thinking, I wonder if I can do better than this. Bye, Emily. Thanks for stopping by. What was I saying? I went to Michael's, and I hadn't showered, shaved, or anything. I hadn't shaved for almost 2 weeks, and I hadn't showered for like 3 days. I was probably in the same clothes for a week, just existing. And I remember walking in there, and like they thought I was homeless, or um, it just, there was a bunch of mothers and children buying school project crafts and stuff, and I walked in like a fucking monster. I'll never forget it. And coincidentally, I used to do that after the first season of Rock of Love, and I started making real money in my life. I got a kick out of going Christmas shopping, and I would get as gross looking as I could possibly get, and go shopping at nice places for people. And I would just get a kick out of the one person that would have enough nerve to ask me if I need some help because no one thought I had any money. They would get the sale, and then I, by the end of it, I would tell them what I was doing for a living. And at that point in my life, I was on TV every single week, and you know, every Sunday night, my guitar was screaming at you on VH1. But it was, I had a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. But in this particular case, I wasn't playing a trick on anyone. And I went and I bought the candle supplies, and I started making a candle. And after I started making the candle, I started doing a bunch of research, and I started. I started understanding that the soy wax that's made in America helps farmers. I was always a huge fan of Farm Aid, always a giant John Cougar Mellencamp fan, always just a big fan of the Midwest. So all of a sudden I just thought maybe I could just start an online business. And even if I sell one candle, that helped the farmers in America. And at the same time, I was recognizing that my children were going to be much like me and not go to college, they were going to forge their own paths. So I thought, if I start this little online business, I'll teach them some entrepreneurism, teach them a little bit about how to make some money, teach them that if I sell a candle for $30, I didn't make $30. To which we were just having, me and Gavin today at the candle shop at 7 o'clock tonight. We're still having this discussion. He's always trying to figure out how the numbers don't add up. uh, I had to renew my business license today, and I found out how much money the candle shop made this year, and it was a bad year, but the money still surprised me. And then when I said to him the money, he's like, "Where is all that money?" And I have to explain them to him that it all goes away. That's it all goes away. So, um, so I got into the business of making candles, a little online business, and I partnered with my friend Sarah Rodriguez. And for a long time, I didn't tell anyone it was mine. A lot of you that are watching might remember this. I don't. I didn't tell anyone it was my company. I said this is my friend Sarah's company, not because I didn't want the rock and roll fans to know I was making candles, but what I was afraid of was that the candle buying public wouldn't want to buy a candle from me. Um, because after I'd done all the research, I decided I was going to take over the world. I was gonna beat Bath and Body Works and Yankee Candle, which is they're giants. They're conglomerate giants. I've made a huge dent. I've made some impact. I'm sure I've robbed them of some customers, but yeah, the only thing that's going to put Yankee out of business is they're just going to get old and outdated like Sears, uh, and implode on themselves because they just won't change that paraffin wax to a better wax. But I'm certainly not going to put them out of business. so, but that's it. I just started the candle business, and then one day Sarah came to me and said, "You've got to tell people this is you." And we were having fun. We were selling some candles, but she said, "You've got to tell people this is you." I said, "Why?" She goes, "It's the only way we're going to be able to kickstart this thing in a way that interests enough people. No one cares about a mother in Manassas making candles." And so one night, I made a Facebook post and I said, "It's my company, and anyone that buys a candle tonight, I will autograph the lid." And overnight, the thing changed. Overnight, the entire business just went nuts. But now we're still struggling. I mean, it got real great for a while, and then it got real bad. I think I'm on the up, but I see a lot of people saying nice things about the candles. You know, I appreciate that. I appreciate it, but I need 10,000 of you guys. So if there's any ever favor you guys can ever really do me, is is help me spread the word with it. I do believe I have a great product, and my product's even better. The reason I'm so exhausted today is for the last 2 days I've been down there early in the morning cranking stuff out, and I love it. So say the name. Tell us the story behind the name. Shining Soul. Interesting, Vaughn. Do you know the story behind the name? So the company Shining Soul, SOL, uh, and for a couple of months I was trying to figure out what to call the company. And if you remember at the beginning, our slogan was "Share the Light." I'm not knocking Darren, but when Darren joined the company, he didn't love that, and it was hard to get him uh, to put that everywhere like I wanted to put. And if you guys know, me and Darren are still the best of buddies, but we've parted ways in the company. Shining Soul is now 100% mine, and one of the first things I want to do is start getting the share the light thing back into it. But I was for months trying to figure out a name. Same thing always happens to me, just like the song lyrics. Things someone likes to watch me in pain and until I'm about to crack, and then they drop whoever it is, some higher power, some higher dimension will drop the information I need right before I'm about to go crazy. And I was in a hotel room with all the lights off, but pacing around, trying to think about this name. Um, and all of a sudden, Shining Soul hits me, because all I kept thinking was I wanted a positive name. I wanted something that was inspiring. I wanted something that was uplifting. I wanted to be about light. And I think I had to share the light phrase before I had Shining Soul. And then My very first record deal I ever signed was to a record label called Soul 3 Records, Soul being the third rock from the sun, Soul 3, and then Soul meaning sun, candlelight. All this came to me in my head at one time, and Shining Soul became the name. I'm so proud of the name. I've changed the image, the look a few times, and and I'm just proud of it. I'm proud of it. So that's why that is named that. Shining Soul. Thank you for telling me to tell this story, Vaughn. And that's the candles. That's why I play guitar, and that's why I make the candles. And one day we'll talk about the hot sauce, the Virginia Sauce and Spice Company. I don't have the time to put the energy into it I want to, but it is a company I have with my buddy Clark, and the product is great. I much like how I feel like I made a better candle. The Evic sauce is something. All I wanted to do was make something no one had ever tasted before. It's very influenced by Jamaican jerk sauce, but it's if you've never had it, um, you go to Virginia Sauce and Spice Company, or we sell it in a bunch of different places. VirginiaSauceandSpice.com, I think it is, and and I'm so proud of it. But it's not a hot sauce. It's a dip. It's a marinade. It's a cooking ingredient. It could be a hot sauce, but it's something incredibly unique tasting. You may love it, you may hate it, but I came up with something brand new, and that's all I ever wanted to do, and I did. So yeah, Virginia Sauce and Spice Company, and it's Evic number 4 because 4 was the fourth try till I got it right. Thank you about Good Show in French Lick, Indiana. I appreciate that. Uh, so like I said, I wasn't going to get too political, but I'm going to talk about this week. Canada, who are the sweetest, kindest, loving people in the world, are threatening us. That's, I don't want to hear about you like Donald Trump or you hate Donald Trump. I don't want to hear about that. What I want to say is no matter who you like, no matter what you believe in, we live in a world where Canada is threatening us. Right before I came in this live stream, I was watching what Trudeau said last night on on his press conference, and I was watching what the premier of Ontario, threatened to cut our power off. The power that we get from Canada up in the Northeast. If he cuts that power and the Ford plant and the other motor industry people are without power for just 3 days, the industry crumbles. Ford's out of business. All the other car companies out of business. It, you know, I'm not, and good for Canada. I hate to say it, and I'm not saying what we're doing is wrong, but what I'll say is a worthy opponent. Me and Brett talk about that a lot sometimes. A worthy opponent, and I don't, I don't know if we can handle the way the entire world's coming at us, but our best ally considers us the enemy now. And he says it. This isn't me making it up. This isn't propaganda. Go watch what Trudeau said. He's a little bit of a weirdo. Just like anything, I talk to my Canadian friends, and they talk about how crazy he is too. Politics is politics. What I'm speaking about is just the sheer strangeness. Did anyone in their world think that they would live in a life where our Canadian neighbors are threatening us? The guy said, I love America, I love its people, but I'll do what I have to do. I'll turn the power off with a smile on my face. And then Trudeau looks right at the camera and says, Donald, you're a smart man, but this is a stupid decision. Uh, Again, striker, maybe it'll be fine. That's not my point. For those of you that support what's happening, which I don't know that I do, uh, if there's a master plan, you got to go through hell to get to heaven. If that's what we're doing, but everyone's going to suffer. And the Canadian that Trudeau said that this is going to be hard on my people, and it's going to suck. But it's just fucking strange. Is Canada supposed to sit and take these unreasonable 25 shares? But yes, just like you're doing for. Yeah, Robert and Teresa, I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. I am not knocking you guys at all. So like I said, a worthy opponent. I can't believe that we're here. All I'm saying is I can't believe I turn on the TV and the leaders of Canada are threatening the United States. It is fascinating that we are here. This is not made up. We live in this world. Canada is the world's largest buyer of American bourbon. They just took off. That's Vaughn. That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, I was just about to say I think Trudeau or the guy from Ontario reached out to the governor of Kentucky personally to apologize for what he was about to do. Uh, it's fucking it's fucking fascinating, man. And watching those two guys talk, they were so kind, they were so sweet, and they don't. It was like a mother when a mother says, "This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you," and it's just I don't even know what I'm trying to say about it. I just can't believe we are here. And then the China guy today, I sounded like Trump, the China guy. I can't say the name, but he says, it's called a trade war. So war can be fought without guns. I've said this before. So here we are in a trade war, and what's the most important thing in the world is money, right? Money, and so here we are. We are in World War III. It's a trade war right now, but it's a world war with Mexico and Canada and China all. Here we are, man. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. That guy, that the premier from Ontario, I just want to drive up there and hug him. You know, even if he's the enemy now, his delivery and Trudeau. I know Trudeau's an idiot, but man, his delivery was so much more pro. Uh, you know, so much more pro. What a mess, man. Like I'm at the point now where I hope I talk to you guys next week. Maybe I won't have electricity. Maybe I won't have. Who knows? I don't know. Fascinating about the education and all the jobs. As I say, and the different. Uh, yeah, yeah. We're here. We live in it. That's all. That's all my point. We live in it. I'm a roll, guys. I'm starving. Got to go get something to eat. 39 consecutive viewers at one time. That's a pretty big number. Thank you for sticking with me. Again, please, please, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll grow this thing. And once I get to 3,000 viewed hours and 1,000 likes or 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna start doing the guest thing, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing some different things with other people climbing in on it. I appreciate your guys' support, helping me get where I'm trying to go. And other than that, have a wonderful night. Maybe I'll see some of you guys on stage at tomorrow, and I'll sing to you then. We won't talk about all this crazy stuff, and then we'll tune back in next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, guys. Thank you.